Hello and welcome to the Compulsive Survival Builder. I was meaning to make this video sooner, but unfortunately I got sick. This is Green Hell.
I'm here. Hey!
Now we're in story mode, and the first thing I want to show you is that if you pause during story mode, if you've already played through it, you can skip it. It took me a few tries before I actually paused the tutorial and realized that it was right here in the pause menu, which is an unusual place to put it. But pro tip, if you want to play story mode, you want to start it over again, you want to skip the tutorial, bang, you can totally do it. Now this is an intense survival game, just came out for PS4 and Xbox, and
Hello?
I've been kind of grinding through it, trying to find the best way to start.
What the hell is going on there?
Yeah, and this part still has to play through. But
Come on, speak to me, Jake.
I wanted to start at the beginning.
Look at him respond this.
I did think it was kind of cool. His name's Jake, my name's Jake. It kind of immerses me a little more in the whole experience. See the plane fly over. I'm going to try not to include as many spoilers for the storyline as I can in this video. I'm not actually going to play through a lot of the stuff that I did. But this is the beginning. This is where you start out. In story mode, you always start here. My understanding of survival mode is that it starts you in a random spot on the map.
Mia? Mia?
Now.
God damn it, this radio.
Okay. You done now, man? This is where it starts you in story mode. And to be quite frank and perfectly honest, this area is about as close to a paradise full of everything that you'll ever need as you're going to get in this game. It's secluded enough that the tribesmen never come to this little area, or at least not in my experience. There are wild bananas growing, as you can see right here. So you don't need to plant bananas for yourself. There's banana trees everywhere. There's coconut trees, the palm trees. Over here, you spawn beehives where you can get honey. There's giant fish in here, so when you learn the fish trap, you can just set one up in there, which I haven't actually done yet, but I definitely intend to. You got sticks, you got logs, you got nuts. There's a couple nut trees in here. Really, like, seriously, guys, this is the place to be. Over there, occasionally a bird's nest will spawn. That's good for fire starting. This place is golden. And what I chose to do with this area was to make a farm, basically. And I am going to show... I'm going to show you how to do that, essentially. I'm not going to go through each individual step, because when I first wanted to showcase this game, I wanted to figure out like the best way to start. And there's a few YouTube videos out there. See, you got a nice cave here, gives you an obsidian stone, and it spawns obsidian stones right here, so you can do obsidian stuff, which is good, especially right at the beginning of the game. So real quick, yeah, boom, we've been in the game for what, 5 seconds. Really, the first thing you want to do is craft yourself an obsidian axe, because they're more durable generally. Like, you have to build your crafting in order to make things more durable. But this game's intense. If you don't know already, I mean, there's plenty, like I said, there's plenty of videos that go over, like, you got your proteins, your carbs, your fats, and your hydration right there. If you click right and left, you can get your direction that you're headed and your location via GPS, which you can compare to the map, which is something we're going to go do real quick, because that's definitely the first thing you should do. And then the time of day, which you do need to pay attention to. Some of the controls, there's a few things that took me a minute to figure out. I don't really find the controls to be intuitive. One of the main things is when you open your backpack, you have the cursor that moves around like a mouse. And I play on PS4. My channel is pretty much specialized in PS4. But the PS4 controllers have a touchpad on them, which I don't know why the game... I'm rubbing my thumb on the touchpad right now, and nothing is happening. I don't know why the game developers didn't take advantage of that, because instead what you've got is this sort of clunky joystick control where it acts like a mouse, but you have to use the joystick, and it slows down when you hover over something, and that gets particularly annoying. I don't like... If I had a note for the developers, it would be take advantage of the touchpad on PS4, because I would way rather dig through the backpack like that. But they don't have that available. So, I was going to pick something up. Oh yeah, let's just grab a banana. I'll show you this. So, this also took me a minute to figure out, because there's not really any note about it. Now, it says down there at the bottom, hold bottom to sort items. And that's what that does, is it kind of arranges everything by size. It's not always ideal, so you may still need to do something, but it often will flip stuff like this, and when you pick it up, you're like, what the heck? Well, you have to hit the triangle button. There you go, and then that's what rotates your items, is the triangle button, and that took me a minute. But really, when you start this game, the first thing you should do is just jet over to the abandoned camp. I'm going to get one of these too, because I want to show you when there are your little control hotkeys over there. And you should pay attention to that, because throw stone is very handy. You have to hold the triangle button to throw a stone. So if you hold the triangle button, then he brings up your stone, and then you can chuck it. See? And I'm not going to bother going to get that, because I have two more. The abandoned camp is pretty straightforward, easy to find. I'm not going to do it, but along the way here, you're going to find the bandage bushes. You should harvest those. You should always be on the lookout for snakes and spiders. You'll hear them. They are auditory warnings for those. We may get bit, I don't know. There's an anthill right there, which you don't want to get too close to. Now these bushes, here you go. You want to be on the lookout for these while you do all of this, and you want to take those flowers and let them dry out, because the fruit that this bush grows, Monsteros Deliciosa or something like that, it is the most badass thing in the game that you can farm and grow. And I'm going to show you once I get us to our little hotspot here. And you can get here pretty easy right at the beginning of the game. Hopefully we won't run into a jaguar up here, because there tends to sometimes be a jaguar over here. The pigs don't bother you. Most of the other animals don't bother you, except the big predators and the snakes and spiders and shit. But once again, the jaguars will also be like an auditory warning. You'll hear the growl. And I'm not sure if they delay spawning of them until you kind of... There's the camp. Until you're a little settled or something like that. But they seem to show up after just a few days. So here you go. Boom. This is just really the first place you need to go. You should check this thing out. It's your drying rack. It's useful. I'll give you some tips about that as well. But right here is your map. And you read these pages that advances the story.
That's what's left of it.
But also what you get is a place to sleep. Right here. So the first night, and you get a bone knife, which is really handy, because it's 100% durability, and that's excellent. So what I normally do, or what I have done, is come to this place and kind of set up like a little temporary base here. I do like a mud thing and a storage box and a place to save, so because it's fairly centrally located for what we need to look for from here on. Now, to access your map, you hit the down button.
Lambda 2.
We don't have anything marked on
Doesn't
here
ring
yet.
a bell.
Lambda 2, that's part of the storyline. And then you can also bring up your watch. And if you read the grid lines at the top there, your east-west bearing, and on the side is your that's your north-south bearing, and we're pretty much southwest, so everything is reading southwest. But that's how you find your way around. Like, if you need to get somewhere, you just look at the grid lines, and then you can kind of figure out if you need to go northwest or whatever, and then you can look at your watch and see how close you are to the grid lines. So that's the first little pro tip. Yeah, like I said, the controls are not intuitive. I'm constantly accidentally sneaking and bringing up my watch when I don't want to look at my watch. Man, and the options for like other controls, they don't really do it for me. But the first thing you would do here is maybe gather some supplies, get your area going a little bit, and then you can advance the storyline by coming over here and building a fire under this, and then gathering the ingredients that you need and going to the trip. We're not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead is load the game where I've already done everything and just explain everything to you guys. Now, as you saw, it's day 25, and that's the reason that I'm not going to dig through step by step what I think the best start for the game is because it took me 25 days. And that was like dealing with tribesmen and dealing with snake bites and gathering supplies and building things and gathering resources. It took 25 days. So this save, we are back at that garden area. And what I did, and I think it's probably a super useful tip, is I used this cave to build my fire in, which means you don't have to cover your fire so that it doesn't go out in the rain. And you still will spawn, it doesn't look like I have any right now, but you still will spawn obsidian stones in there. And then I just built a shelter outside, and I got a storage box. See, a bunch of obsidian stones. See, and I just, whenever I pick them up, I put them in here. Now, for the sake of showing off this particular glitch that I have found, this is a glitch. It is possible in this storage box to expand this obsidian stone and say drop. Now, I'll show you, because it seems like loading a save fixes this, but this happens. It falls through the bottom of the storage thing. Okay, oops. You back out, come back in. Oh, it's there again. Oh, okay. I'll just grab it now. Nope. Go back in. Nope. What's more, watch this. Pick this up, put it here. It won't go there. You can't put stuff there. It thinks the thing's still there. Right? Now, you can time it just right to where instead of it falling, watch. You grab it. Oh, I didn't get it. Okay. Try one more time. Got it. Okay. So, okay. Fix the glitch, right? Nope. That just fell through again. Oh, and if I... See, this can't go there because it thinks the thing's... See, it's like a game-breaking glitch, guys. It's really super annoying. The other thing I've had happen is I'll pick something up and then, like, check my watch. And sometimes that's glitch stuff out to... Yeah, see, and now this went up there. And I've had it, like, glitch out locations in the thing to where if I hover over the spot, it just crashes the game. Okay, my whole point here is to show that these storage boxes are glitchy. Hopefully, they will get patched. They are not patched as of, what is this, the beginning of August 2021. So you got to be real careful when you're using these storage boxes to pay attention to what buttons you're pushing. Otherwise, you can, like, game break glitch your storage box. Now, like I said last time I did a reload and it fixed the issue. Yeah, it looks like we're good again. So just know that, like, if you've done a bunch of stuff and then your storage box glitches, it's gonna be permanently glitched unless you reload from a previous save. So, now that that's covered, I was, in this area, I was chopping a whole bunch of logs because I was trying to build, like I said, a farm. And I ended up with a bunch of additional resources, so I really just made a whole bunch of storage locations for those resources. Now that's another little gameplay tip here, and that is that if you just leave the resources lying on the ground, eventually they're going to despawn. At one point I brought a bunch of bamboo sticks over and just laid them on the ground because I didn't have a bamboo stick holder, and now they're gone. They're just gone. So you really need to take advantage of these storage locations because they will actually save your items. Another thing that's really cool is this water filter, this mud water filter. You need one bamboo stick to make this thing, but you can find some bamboo by one of the locations you need to go to. But it makes a great just giant rain catch. Now, a lot of people suggest the coconut shells, and they work just fine. Oh, look, we got the magnifying glass. If you see it down in the bottom left there, magnifying glass means there's something on you. I got armor, yes. I will show you armor as well. It's always leeches, yes. And there's another thing. With this controller thing, it's on the PS4 anyway, trying to use the joystick to get these things is such a pain. You have to like just go until the square appears. It's really annoying. If I had notes for the developers on this game, it would be work on the controls for console, guys, because it's a fun game, real fun, really intense. I'm pretty good on everything. Really tough. It is hard on you. This is an unforgiving survival game. But what I did with this area, and I will go over shortly kind of how I got to this point, is you see this, we got the farm. I got all these plants here, and I'm waiting for daylight so that it's a little easier to see out here. This is my mud mixer. It's a good idea to build a mud mixer close to the water, because that's where you gather the mud, and then you can just move it, and you don't have to drag it with you really far. And then I built another storage box here, and what I've got in there is my garden stuff over here, and then charcoal, which you can harvest down to campfire ash, which you need to make mud bricks. So I usually just let my campfires burn out and then collect the charcoal instead of putting them out all the time. Another quick thing, you see animal droppings around, pick it up. Because that is your, see that, fertilizer. The other thing that is fertilizer is rotten fruit, and that is the only reason that I planted one of these dumb trees. Now, these fruits will cure food poisoning. I believe it's food poisoning. But what I like about them is they fall off the tree and they rot. And so I've just got this one tree here dropping fruit on the ground that is going to rot. And then you can just put it in and fertilize. So I've got a tree literally growing its own fertilizer and all these other fertilizers. Now, this is the fruit I was talking about, this unknown fruit. And I'm growing several trees of it. Quick other complaint is the frame rate on this game. It's only like a 5 gigabyte game. I can't understand why the frame rate is so terrible. And it's like constantly terrible. This stuff, do I have any of it? I do, okay. Has protein. Now, that's exciting as a fruit, because it's as far as I know, it's the only thing in the game that you can like grow that has protein. Otherwise, you have to do like animals, and you can do bugs and snails and larvae, and you can hunt and all that stuff. But if you got this going, you can just farm your protein. And then you also got fish and stuff. And then I got my health plants, the bandages, the lily, the tobacco, and then this tree, which it's available on like Wiki. This information's available out there. But this tree, if you cut it down and you take the flower before it dries, and you make a tea with it, you put it in just a coconut shell with some water, then it will drop a fever. The other thing about this stuff, if you're going to drop the fever, or use it to drop the fever, don't harvest the plant until you need the flower. Because one, when the flower's dried out, you can no longer make the tea. And two, that brew, that fever brew that you make, it's called a brew, that's one of the few like liquid recipes that you can make that will not stick around. And that's handy because, like, one of the worst things that can happen to you in this place is getting bit by a venomous animal. Because not only do you have to take care of the poison, but you have to take care of the fever, and the entire time your health is just dropping and your energy is dropping. And that's the other thing about these blue mushrooms, which you can find on the giant trees. This one's only got 4 hours left. But watch my energy level. It's that bottom one down there. These mushrooms are packed with energy. Boom. Now, that's kind of a tip too. If you find those mushrooms, they're super handy. There's another kind of mushroom, and I call them, they're just called, all of this stuff in here, everything's unknown. I call these ones funnel mushrooms, and then I have this storage box that's right by the edge here, so I can always run back here. What I'm keeping in there is food I've found that doesn't spoil, including these Brazil nuts, which are a great source of fat, and they don't spoil as long as you don't open them. And then I got some tobacco leaf, some bandages. I got stuff to make or eat. So I've left it separate because if you eat the lily, it takes care of poison that is in your system. And then the tobacco bandage takes care of poison. So, like, I might need a lily bandage. I might need to eat the lily. The honey will take care of your sanity if you eat the honey, but it'll also, on a bandage, it'll take care of, like, an infected wound. It's really effective at that, so I would collect honey. It takes up a lot of space. And then I got some water lily here for food poisoning in case I run into that. I got a few bone needles in case I've got a worm. And then I got some campfire ash because the campfire ash bandages will take care of bleeding wounds. Now, this is, like I said, this is all information, but I just kind of created a little, like, first aid kit here for myself that's right off the edge. Or right at the edge of my farm, so I can always just run over here and get what I need. Because you do want to take care of stuff as quickly as possible. Now, that's the other advantage to this unknown fruit, is that it doesn't spoil. Like, you can see, like, if I go over these mushrooms again, decay, these are going to decay in 3 hours. And you can see the minutes counting down like seconds. That's how quick time goes in this game. But this one, there's no decay. This thing doesn't decay. These things are pure gold out here. So that's what I was saying. You collect those flowers. I don't have any of those that have flowers, but I showed you the flower earlier. And then dry them out and plant that flower, and that's how you get these trees that I've got down here. And I got tons of this stuff, guys. Like, I can walk around. I don't even have to pick the trees. You saw some that were already on the ground. Like, and it continues to grow them. So you just pick them up. You can carry a bunch of them too. It's a little hard to navigate through the bushes and stuff, but it does kind of highlight when you're looking at one. I also planted all these real close to the water because this game has, like, rain seasons and dry seasons. So sometimes you're going to have to water your plants. So I put them close to the water because really the only way to do that is kind of an annoying process. I wonder if I can... Nope. Full on my backpack. Okay. But if I go like that, then I'll bet I got room for it. Yeah, look at that. Look at how many of those you can carry. And each one is 15 proteins and they never go bad. Boom, man. Like, you got your diet going on. This is... there might be a better way. you can either use your canteen, but I don't like doing that because you don't have to water with clean water. But it's literally drop a pot in the water and then drag it over. Oh my gosh. You can't, that's the other thing, when you're holding something like this, you can't rotate your view. Oh man. Work on the controls, guys. But yeah, get it over the green dot, and then boom. Now the hydration's at 100%. Now, that's how you have to water these plants if you're gonna water them manually. Now, I think I'm still in the rainy season, so I haven't had too much. And that animal dropping fertilizer lasts a really long time, so I haven't had to refertilize yet. Now, like, I've got these 2 coconut bowls sitting here, and that's where I make my soup, because soup is more nutritious and it cooks faster than just roasting your meat. But I do have a roaster up here. In any case, if I make meat stew in these, and then just leave it, like I put the fire out and leave it sitting there, it won't go bad, it won't spill, it won't dilute, it'll always just be sitting there. And I can always just come back and drink my meat stew whenever I feel like doing it. It's a great way to preserve your meat. The other thing, since we pointed it out earlier, and I will head over there, the drying rack is super useful. And since we're headed this way, I'm going to break out my spear. Let me, like, on our way here, let me point out, alright, now I have some map locations. So, there's the village that we were at when we got the map. And that's at 4625. Right above that is the stone after you take the hallucinogen and go through the storyline. That opens up to the rest of the world. And then if you see just southwest of that, there's that barrel, and that's the drug lab. And if you want to see all these locations, there's a bunch of videos. I'm not going to do a video on these locations. You can totally find them on YouTube. But the drug lab is where I got that pot from. And then you also learn recipes all along the way. Okay, and then above that is the anchor, and that's the dock. So you can, like if I wanted to get to the dock from here, I'd have to go to the rock, and then then I know I'm there. So I know I have to go northwest to basically 51, 52, 19. And then that's what I look at on my watch. Like, that's how you navigate around this. Next to that is a hostile tribal village. That's where I got that tribal bow, if you saw it in my backpack. And then northeast of that is the Jeep wreck. Now, if you're in story mode, you don't get the grappling hook there. You get a gas can. And then southeast of that, you see where there's a cave and an elevator icon. That's where you go down and you find the gold mine, which is the pickaxe that's above the elevator there. And that's where you get the grappling hook in story mode. So I don't know how many people have really gone over that. But those are the locations. You can look at them. 4118 is the cave to get to the elevator where you use the gas can from the Jeep to go down and get your grappling hook. And I have all of that stuff now. Like you can see, I got the pot. You get the bidon, also known as a canteen, from the Jeep. And then you get a gas can, which is hanging here until you get the grappling hook, which I have. I haven't actually used it yet, but that ought to be interesting. Let's see if these are about to spoil. Oh, they are. Eat. There. Whew. Quick before they went bad. But yeah, I got all the necessities that I needed. I think this is your crafting menu, the notebook. You can scroll through it, or you can use the cursor and just click on stuff. But I got the machete, which is sort of a random spawn item at those locations. You can also get an axe, I hear. I haven't seen it. I got the tribal bow off a tribesman. It's only 40% durability. I don't I haven't practiced archery, which is something you have to do in this game. Otherwise, your aim is like all over the place. I made myself armadillo armor, as you can see, which is one of the best armors in the game. I think the only one that tops it is the metal armor. But I haven't actually forged any metal yet. You gotta watch out for stingrays in the water when you're walking along here. Just listen for jaguars. The pigs can throw you off sometimes because they sound an awful lot like the jaguar growl. Now the jaguars, that's the only enemy I've encountered so far. I know there's other cats, but they're not that hard, especially if you just throw your spear at its head. That's really just how you take one down. It kind of stalks at you, and you just if you crouch, you don't run. If you run, it's just gonna attack you. But you literally have a bunch of time to just take aim at its head and throw your spear at it. But this is what I was going to talk about, the drying rack. Now, supposedly, if you pick it up and it's been sitting there too long, it'll instantly rot in your bag. I haven't actually checked that, but if you don't pick it up and you just eat it off of this, see, like, capybara meat is the best meat in the game by far. Eat that, boom, fat, protein, we're good. And it doesn't give you like the food poisoning for spoiled meat, so just leave it on the drying rack, eat it right off the drying rack. It seems to be working for me, man. The other thing is that the drying rack stops working if it starts raining, but if you leave the area and then come back, every time I've done that, it has dried the meat for me, even if it was raining like pretty much the whole time I was gone. But this is what I was talking about. I just built a little hut shelter. I built a storage box. I got the mud mixer over there too. This one's got more bandages. Like I said, this was like a more centrally located area for me, so I've got like some unspoilable food. I got lots of bone needles because you end up with a lot of bones that you can't really use. I make armor out of it immediately as I'm getting bones. That's probably a good idea up until I get to the big armadillos that you can make armadillo armor out of. And then I just got a bunch of bandages and medicine and all kinds of stuff in here, you know. And I would, honestly, I'd recommend, like, dropping these storage boxes. As long as you're careful with how you use them, like I was saying before, then they're great. And the mud mixer isn't that hard to build. It's like 8 logs and 4 sticks. And if you build it by water, all you need is a campfire, and then you just throw mud in there, throw some, or you can, if you have some campfire ash on you, or charcoal that you can harvest into campfire ash, drop it in there, fill it with water. If you do it while it's raining, it'll fill up itself. And you really only need 2 bricks. 2 bricks, 2 planks, a bunch of sticks to make this thing. And man, I'm gonna plop them everywhere as I play this game. This is not an entirely safe place. You will get tribesmen walking through here on their way to the cave, I assume. You will get jaguars will come out of the woods here, or maybe this way. The capybara are nice, but I wouldn't make this like a permanent establishment. This is what I was talking about. Look at this. Meat soup. This has been sitting here since I started the dang game. And if I want to, I can drink it, you know, and it'll just take care of everything for me. And then this one is a brew. This is I forget which one this is. Is this the poison brew? I think you can make one with tobacco leaf or something like that. You can look up all these recipes. But that one will hold, apparently. But that fever one didn't. I made that fever one in both of these, and it just turned into water, which was a little disappointing. I was hoping I could save it like these brews. But yeah, I just leave these sitting here, and they don't ever go bad. Like, this is just me taking advantage of game mechanics and sharing it with all of you. And I don't know, like, in the future this stuff might get patched out or whatever, but right now, hey, man. This game is exactly my kind of game, which is intense grinding, basically. Like, you gotta watch your hydration, you gotta watch your carbohydrates, you gotta watch fats, you gotta watch proteins. If you get bit by a spider, then you got to bandage it with a tobacco leaf to suck the venom out, and then you'll get a fever, and then your energy is gonna drop. And it's so realistic and so much stuff you have to worry about that it actually makes it almost feel kind of realistic. And I heard they're going to be doing VR support for this game, which, as some of you know, I have a VR system, and I would be super excited to play this game in VR because like I said, the control mechanics are not really that intuitive, so I would hope that you'd have a little more freedom of movement in VR. That hopefully they would do good by the like holographic controls. But we'll see. Like, I want it to come out for PSVR because I will definitely buy it. Now, other than that, this game right now, full price, is only $25. And I think it's absolutely worth that. And it only takes up 5 gigs of space. Like, it's a totally small game. It's a totally fun game. The storyline's not bad. I'm not going to ruin anything about it. It's a little strange. I don't know if you ever played The Forest. This is very comparable in game mechanics to The Forest. It's a little different. It's a little more intense, I think, as well. The Forest is a little easier to get the hang of. Last I checked, it was on sale for like $8 or $7 or something like that on PlayStation Store. So if you want to like try out like a survival style game, I wouldn't recommend, if you're not kind of familiar with survival mechanics, jumping right into this game, because this one's really tough. But The Forest is a lot like it, and it's really cheap right now, and it would be a good introduction, like an $8 introduction, to see if maybe you'd like something like this. I liked The Forest a lot. I never really did any content on it. I know they got the sequel coming out. Maybe I'll do some content on that one. But this game, I think, is better than The Forest as far as the survival mechanics are concerned. Let's just go ahead and sleep. One thing that this game doesn't do that The Forest does is The Forest limits your ability to just sleep time away. This game lets you sleep whenever the hell you want to. Okay, so yeah, those glow-in-the-dark mushrooms, those are energy mushrooms. You should always be worried about your energy level, because that's what's going to make you pass out. That's what's going to make the game super hard, is if you're passing out and you're getting worms and it's just making everything worse. So every time I stumble across those funnel mushrooms, I eat them to bump my energy up. Now, if you sleep, you're fine. Your energy's fine. But those are the ones I was talking about. Starts getting light at about... Oh, leech sanity. Okay, I'll get it in a minute. About 5 a.m. So, I usually try to wake up about 5:30 because it gives me like the most daylight. The other thing that, if you notice the little thing that popped over here, it said leech sanity -2. That tells you how many leeches you have, because you get -1 sanity for each leech that you have. So if you get that notification, then you know how many leeches to look for. This is the big tree I was talking about. There's lots of them. This is not the only one. This is just one of the first ones you encounter. But this is where you get the Brazil nuts. Yeah, here's one. And like I said, if you don't harvest them, then they don't go bad. And they're a great source of fat, which I actually need. So let's go ahead and harvest one, and I'll show you. Bonk. And you get this Brazil nut bowl. It's basically useless. I'm not going to keep it. That's another thing. You notice I destroyed that, and that's because the more crap you just leave lying around, the worse and worse your frame rate is going to get. So if you don't want stuff, I wouldn't recommend just dropping it. If you know you don't want it, destroy it. That's going to save your frame rate in the long run. But we harvested it. We got these nuts. You get 35 fats out of these things, man. Great. Boom. See? Almost completely filled our requirements. Eat one of those. Maybe we'll have a good breakfast. Good hearty breakfast. Bango. And just fine on. And the Brazil nuts give you a little bit of carbohydrates, and so do the meat thing. But other than these things, I wouldn't farm. I do not recommend farming carbohydrates. And I'll show you why. They, like right here, look, boom, bananas. Like just about everywhere you roam, there's carbohydrates just growing. So you can just eat them right off the tree. Bang, carbohydrates. This is the way to the opening to the rest of the map. Those lizards don't bug you, and you can eat them if you want to hunt it. Birds' nests are great. The reason I like birds' nests is because they are tinder, just like the dry leaves right here, but they have their own inventory slot right here below your fire starter. And it's these and the fiber that you get from harvesting like tobacco leaves, and I think also these Moliana ones. These are your bandage plants. They're all over the place. You really should get lots of them. And you can plant them. If you take the leaf, and like you saw, I had one planted. If you take the leaf and then harvest it, then you'll get some fiber that'll go in here, but you'll also get the flowers, which once they're dry, you can plant them. And here's another one of those trees. Yeah. So the big ones, they will grow. Yeah, the blue mushrooms. Here we go. See? So I'm actually going to take a few of these for a journey, since I ate all the rest of the ones we had. Three is probably enough. I think that's what's in a stack. Yeah, looks like. So, yeah, but they each give you like 10 energy or something like that. And it's a little ridiculous even. But you also get the Brazil nuts. So, yeah. So once you go through the storyline, this will open up. And this is how you get to all of those other areas that I was discussing. You go through here, and like I said, on the way you're going to run into a lot of these Monsterosa Deliciosa plants, and you just be looking in them. If you see the flower, take the flower. If you see the fruit, you might as well just eat the fruit. Down that way is how you get to the drug facility. And up this way is how you get to everything else. And then you get over to this footbridge. Now, if you go over the footbridge, let's just go ahead and go over. That way goes to the dock. And you see more bananas. And then if you follow this kind of along the river, you can get, if you go basically just left, once you hit the wall, it takes you to that camp, that hostile camp. And then if you can see there's kind of a crack in the wall there. If you go through that and then like north, you get to the Jeep. And then from the Jeep, you can just pretty much head directly southeast down to that cave and go down there and get your grappling hook. And then that mine is a totally safe place to like sleep, and you can gather some more supplies there. Oh, did you hear that? That's what I'm talking about, auditory. Ah, I see him. There he is. Snakes are a pain in the ass because they hide in the bushes like this. I always kill them, even if I'm not going to harvest the meat. And the reason for that is that now that I killed him, I've got like 3 days or so, 2 or 3 days in this area where he's not going to spawn again. So I know I'm going to be safe walking through here. If you want the meat, the rattlesnake meat's pretty good. Here's one of those unknown fruits. These are also good for hydration. 8 hydration. I think that's the same that you get from the little ones that grow in the bushes. See, you hear the flies? You get a lot of auditory stuff. So you gotta kind of look around. It's either gonna be like a corpse or animal droppings. That's how you find the animal droppings, is you listen for the flies. They're great fertilizer. But they will dirty your hands. You see that? So I don't want to eat anything until I can wash. This area is where the big armadillos are. Like that one. Now, you really want to headshot armadillos because they will run off with your damn spear, and I can't ever find them when they run off. The capybara, they pretty much bleed out no matter where you hit them, as long as you're using the obsidian spear. But these are the ones that when you harvest them, like, they're pretty not afraid, but he'll still run away. When you harvest them, you can make the armor out of them, and then you just need a banana leaf and like 2 rope, and that's it, man. And you got one of the best armors in the game. Here's the red mushroom, so I'll show you that really quick. So we can just go ahead and drink this water, even though it's gross. Oh, I didn't even get parasites. Sometimes
Disgusting.
you don't. There we go.
Ugh.
Okay, 2 parasites, and then you just go eat, eat, and they're gone. Boom. It's like a perfect dehydration solution. And the best way to start is to go kind of set up a base at that 4625 little abandoned camp. Then you go through the storyline, and then I just use that as like a central location to kind of branch out to all the other locations that I wanted to go to. And I would go and I'd pick up supplies, and I'd come back to camp and I'd kind of sort out my supplies. And then I'd go to another, I'd like go to the dock and come back and then like sort out the supplies I got there. And then I'd go fight the guys and get a bow. I almost got a travel spear, but I lost it. And then go to the jeep and then go down to the mine. And, you know, but then I came back, and by the time I went to all of those places, I had a mess of the flowers to grow these. And then it took me like 10 more in-game days to build all the pots and store all the goods and start growing the fruit. But now, dude, I am golden, and that place is, like I said, like a damn paradise, you know? I'll just load it up again real quick, because you can always come back here and just be safe for a minute, you know? Or if you want to like grind your crafting or like practice your archery or anything like that, you know, you can come back to this place and you got food and you got supplies. You got respawnable supplies that really makes kind of grinding your character and everything just that much easier. So anyway, if you like this video, leave a like, consider subscribing. This is probably, unless I find, I don't know, some more interesting stuff, I'm probably not going to continue making content on this game. But those are my 2 cents on it. It's an excellent game. You should definitely play it. If you're interested in being notified on when I post videos, then go ahead and hit the bell icon. And other than that, stay safe out there, survivalists.